I'm gonna do a vegetable and fruit cleanse, if you will, here like probably starting tomorrow. And I kind of want to talk about it because I want to talk about the why behind it and kind of give you some details in case you actually want to join along with me. So by cleanse, I mean only eating plant foods. Um, I say for the most part, for the purpose of allowing my body to rest from an abundance of animal products, grains, processed foods, which I try not to eat a lot of anyway, and other things like that, especially foods that tend to be that can sometimes tend to be implicated with inflammation and stuff like that. Now, keep in mind, like some of these like in the right forms and with the right person, like dairy, even grains, they're not all bad. It A lot of it depends on the individual. So I really want to make sure I state that because um you know, you have to be careful not to do blanket statements, just like the whole gluten-free thing. Gluten-free is important because there are people whose bodies can't really tolerate that gluten protein. But sometimes because of our label happy systems, sometimes you think whenever something says gluten free, you kind of equate that to healthiness, and then you may not even have any sort of issue with gluten. So it's important for me to state that. But anyhow, the reason why I'm doing this is because, um, I've been dealing off and on with like joint pain. Now, you know me, I do a lot of exercise. I do a lot of strength training, a lot of calisthenics. And here over the past 3 or 4 months, I've been doing a lot of weightlifting again. And so that means, a lot of stuff with the knees and elbows. Now, I don't have any pain in my elbows, but a little in my shoulders and more so in my knees. And it's a type of lingering pain that I more so feel when I exercise, and which normally would kind of go away, but it's kind of like hanging around a bit. Now I already fast, but I do short fasts, frequently like 24 hours, 36 hours, every now and then 48 hours. Um, but I want to do this to kind of give my body even more of a chance to really heal and flush out any excess inflammation that may be there. Because if you know anything about inflammation, you know that first of all, inflammation is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's actually part of the healing process. However, in our society, our lifestyles tend to be such that they keep that system going. In other words, chronic inflammation, which is not a good thing. Inflammation is best whenever it's acute, meaning it's related to very specific situations like dealing with a viral infection or healing from something, because it helps all the killer cells and the other healing cells and stuff to go to an area, flood that area, and kind of start things, kind of healing up and whatnot, get rid of infections and things. But over time, when it persists, then you can start to have issues where, you have like, pain that persists for a while, and then your body can the way they phrase it, your body can start to attack itself, and that kind of related even to, or associated with stuff like autoimmune situations where the body actually starts to get harmed by the immune system, attack attacking itself, so to speak. So anyway, that's why I'm doing that. I was talking to my brother, and he mentioned, when his church was doing a fast relatively recently, where they were actually doing like I think in that he was doing a lot of plant foods and whatnot, or only plant foods, I want to say. And he mentioned that joint pain that he had just went away. And I think what happens is, especially when you kind of eliminate certain kind of foods and you focus on, what is probably the most nutritious food group, like vegetables and fruits, it gives the body a chance to heal and maybe to go ahead and finish whatever kind of inflammatory process. Um, and so that your body can kind of move on from that and eliminate pains and kind of balance out a bit. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So let me explain even more what I'm gonna how what my cleanse is gonna look like. So main thing I'm gonna do is eat fruit in the morning, whether it be um, you know, like apples, maybe fruit smoothies, but I'm gonna try to avoid like I usually put a little organic yogurt in there, so I may try to avoid stuff like that. Even though for dairy, a lot of times I think that, if you're gonna get dairy, like yogurt is probably like about the best way you can get it. But so fruit or fruit smoothies, and then for lunch and dinner, some sort of vegetables, basically or mainly non-starchy vegetables. The various greens, whether it be spinach, kale, collards, cabbage, turnips, and so on and so forth. Usually sauteed with onions and or garlic. Um, I like to put mushrooms in my stuff sometimes because I've, been kind of really getting into these mushrooms here recently. And other stuff, but mainly non-starchy vegetables for lunch and dinner. I may allow myself a little fruit, maybe as a slight treat during those times, but I don't know yet. And I'll still also be doing like my tea, like my green tea that I drink after lunch. Other things are, I'm not going to be afraid to eat until I'm full. Excuse me. Not just because I'm eating fruits and vegetables doesn't mean that I'm somehow just going to be eating less volume of food. I'm not going to do that. I think that's key. Drinking water. I will still allow myself to have my morning coffee. So that, as far as I know now, will remain unchanged. But I'm not sure how long I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it definitely 2 days. I'm thinking I'm leaning toward 3 days. Um, but yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about doing. But I say all that to say this. If you are somebody who has been dealing with joint pain that has lingered for a bit, or maybe maybe kind of tired, or different kind of things that you kind of feel a little bit more worn, I invite you to join me on my vegetable and fruit cleanse. Like I say, fruit in the morning, fruit and fruit smoothies in the morning, non-starchy vegetables for lunch and for dinner. We're not doing, all kind of snacks and stuff like that. Eat until you're full, drink water. And yeah, you can still have a little coffee in the morning, but try to avoid it after the morning time. If you with me, let me know, okay? Just let me know. All right, y'all have a good one. If you're 35 to 50 years old and wanting to lose weight, get stronger, and become more athletic, but you keep finding yourself hitting roadblocks like aches and pains, stuck at the same weight, lack of motivation, even wondering if your fitness goal is impossible to reach, I got something for you. My exclusive fitness support consists of my daily fitness mindset mornings every weekday morning, where I teach you the mindset that fit people use to achieve high levels of health and fitness, and where you can ask me your specific health and fitness questions so that you can finally get unstuck. You also get access to my video workout library, as well as my fat loss workbook, fitness journal, and other helpful fitness related downloads we have available on our Patreon. If that sounds good to you and you're ready to change your mind so that you can finally change your body, your health, and your life, join us now at patreon.com/Sean B2B Fitness.